Okay, so we have just seen the first weekend of Coachella for 2026, and I was obviously watching. I mean, we weren't there, spoiler alert. I don't know if I could camp at this stage of my life.
I don't think you could call what happens at Coachella camping.
It's more like survival.
It's
crazy. We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
So, yes, I know that you've been watching a lot of it through TikTok and online and sort of glued to all the drama that's going on. Because that's the thing about Coachella. It's not just – there's so many different avenues that you can become attached to and deep dive on, is that you've got all the musical performances.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the celebrities there, and it's not like they're sitting in an award show. They're interacting. They're drinking. They're at parties together. There's so much from that. And then you have all the influencer drama with like the camping and the tickets and everything. It's just giving us just a world of content. So, okay, where shall we start?
If you have a TikTok, I suggest starting with the camping setups. That's just me personally.
Even before the weekend, you were like, we got to keep an eye on the camping setup.
The camping's crazy. Like, people have bought all kinds of stuff. You know, camping, it's absolutely nuts. Go check it out. I'm not going to waste our time talking about it today because we have too many other things to talk about. That's all I'll say on that. But the thing that I need to talk about is something urgent that has come across my desk this morning, which is, according to Dumois, the very same man we were just talking about, Jacob Elordi, was spotted by multiple people kissing and smooching on Kendall Jenner.
Yeah. And I love that for the both of them.
And I love it for both of them, but I'm also like, I'm so intrigued. I'm so confused. Why is there no vision? Where was the boots on the ground journalism at Coachella 2026?
Well, that's true. I do think we've been let down in this instance of where are the photos. I think because a lot of those parties, people get their phones taken away.
Okay, true.
Like, that's just
Sorry for having an opinion, God.
I want to watch creepy photos of two people younger than me kissing at a party as well. I'm just saying, I think that's why, because you hear a lot of these parties that people get their phones taken away on the way in. They get put in those little pouches that we have at movie premieres.
Yeah. So you've given me faith in this rumor now, because my one hold up was I was like, Where's the vision?
No, the one thing I hear about all of these celeb parties is that it's phones down. Otherwise, no one would go in there, because the thing is, like, the celebs aren't going to share photos of each other, but each one of them goes in there with a bunch of friends, and then like PRs get their friends in, and then you have also people who are working there. So like, unless you lock phones away, there's no way to keep that private.
That's so intriguing.
And if they didn't do that, then none of those big stars would go. And then they get more publicity about the parties because everyone's like, I want to know what happened inside.
Because you do always hear like a portion of rumor from Coachella that you don't really see, whereas then everything else is just like stuff that blows up on social media. Like even Rihanna and Leonardo DiCaprio, that's a throwback.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
It is a throwback.
Yeah. But basically, Kendall and Jacob, two tall, beautiful people. I'm actually a really big fan of Kendall. Sorry to say to anyone who doesn't like her.
I've come around to her.
I'm really on her team.
I think she just got not a bad edit on her own show. I used to be like, not love how she's just like, I'm not like the other girls.
That wasn't great.
Very in that kind of, but also if we all got filmed when we were 14, 15, 16, we
all said dumb shit.
There'd be so many hate pages about me is all I'll say on that. But I have warmed to her too. Especially I listened to a podcast the other day where she was talking about not having anyone to go on holidays with, and so she just goes by herself, and I was like, oh, that's so relatable, Kendall Jenner.
Kendall Jenner, relatable queen.
Yeah, the things we never thought we'd say as she like shows off her like 5 different houses that she owns. But yeah, there were those viral photos like over a month ago now of Kendall and Jacob Elordi meeting backstage at an event, and everyone was losing their mind over that. But it felt like wish fulfillment that nothing was actually going to happen there.
Yes. No, but it's always very exciting when it happens. And this is kind of following, do you remember like when Sabrina and Barry Keoghan first started dating? It was similar. They met at a fashion show, then he was at her Coachella. It's giving that trajectory. I hope it ends better for them.
Yeah, sometimes fan fiction comes true. Well, it's like when Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet were seated together at that Paris Fashion Week show.
Oh my gosh, Fashion Week's where it is.
All of those photos went out of the two of them sitting together, and everyone's like, they're going to date, and people are like, that's crazy, they're not going to date. And here we are. Sometimes we manifest.
Sometimes the internet gets it right with just our dreams and our hopes and vision.
So do we think they were just having a little Coachella makeout sesh, or do we think that they're a new...
I reckon they're like a cute new flirty situation is what I would say. Kendall... And I am basing this off of the very small amounts of things that I know about her. She seems to be very like laissez-faire when it comes to the men she dates in terms of like she's happy to keep it breezy, and then she's in relationships and she's kind of like in and out of relationships, it seems. And that's not in a judgmental way at all. Like her and Bad Bunny was like, oh, is it a thing? Is it not a thing? Now we're on vacation. Now we're doing this. And like that seems to be her vibe sometimes in relationships. Obviously with Devin Booker, shout out to that man, seemed a bit more serious. But I reckon maybe her and Jacob, bit of a flirty vibe. Maybe they've gone on some dates, and we'll have to wait and see. I don't really think he's going to be going on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
No, but the thing is, like, Timothy Chalamet doesn't go on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. To be fair, Kendall and Kylie Kylie are also barely on the Kardashians.
Show.
They do one little scene together where they talk about the fact that they went to lunch and it went well. And I was like, well, yeah, you're sisters. No one thought that was going to be a plot point.
Yeah,
and that's
so true.
So the two of them have checked out of that show. So I don't think. Yeah. So Timothy and Jacob aren't going to be on it.
And I kind of think that Timothy and Kylie maybe like broke down the barrier of like Hollywood types for Kendall.
Yeah.
You know, because like the family's always really been sports led when it comes to the relationship.
They have been sports led.
And Kendall and like Kim have both gone music. And then Kylie was like, what about Oscar nominees?
Yeah. And then Kendall's like also Oscar nominees. And also Kim Kardashian was there with Lewis Hamilton.
Yes.
So she's that's old school Kardashian with the sports guy.
Yeah.
But
different kind of sport. We're doing new things in 2026.
It wasn't that long ago that we thought Jacob was getting back with his longtime on and off girlfriend, Olivia Giuliani, right? Olivia Jade Giuliani.
Yes. How do you think Olivia feels this morning?
Well, that's all the comments under all the rumors, stories about Jacob and Kendall. I was like, oh my God, what about Olivia? She's quaking right now. I actually think if it's true, I mean, they were only spotted together
it was like January, right?
Yeah.
A little bit again. Yeah.
She went to dinner with him and his parents. But also they were together for years. I don't know.
And like on and off since 2021.
Yeah.
It was a long ride.
Oh
it was
my
a journey.
God. I can't wait for the love story episode of the
That
series.
I want.
That I want because we didn't get to see.
And I was always rooting for it. I know that college scandal, but Olivia Jade and him actually made sense to me.
Yeah.
But so did Kendall and him. So you know what? I like it. I'm on board. And I do feel for Olivia Jade if she's upset, but maybe she's not. Maybe she doesn't care.
I think she's probably fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, I look forward to that hot new couple getting out and about. But also we'll probably, maybe this is all we'll be gifted with and that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, what other celebs were there?
Katy Perry and former Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau.
It must be said, having the time of their lives.
Having a great time. They were in like the little celebrity pit for Justin Bieber. I never really thought I would see Justin Trudeau like rocking out to Justin Bieber. Two Canadian princes right there. I mean, I don't know if I'd call Trudeau a prince.
Yeah,
I take it back.
I feel like you can.
I don't know, whatever. He looks like Prince Eric to me and that's really it.
Yeah, that does a lot of the heavy lifting for him.
But I do think the photo of them, there's like a picture of them and they're on a stoop and like he's eating like noodles. And they're at Coachella. Like, did you ever think that you would see a political figure like that with a pop star in this day and age? It's very old school Hollywood.
It is so old school Hollywood.
Not the sitting on a stoop eating noodles part. But the rest of it.
But the fact that he's just like, I'm just a festival bro with like my music girlfriend and we're both, and like no one thinks about the fact that he was the prime minister and like it was like the ultimate kind of like happily married dad. Like I know, like that's obviously fine. People get divorced, that's fine. And they seem very, very happy together. But it was a real pop culture moment in time.
Yeah, well, it's like the whole thing. He's gone from like prime minister, with the wife and kids, who's always on like in his little suits, and then now he's like had his little rebrand.
Now it's like sitting on the ground
in a
at
white tee at Coachella on
just
the ground,
rocking out.
Like, can you imagine seeing like Albo with Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah, that is exactly
in the Coachella Valley.
It
You'd
really
be like,
does.
what?
It really does, because they're both in their like early 40s, or I think he's more mid 40s. It really does give me hope that you can just completely rebrand at any stage of your life.
You could do anything at any time.
That could be me in 5 years. I could be sitting on the ground at Coachella eating noodles. We just don't know.
We don't know, and it could be with anyone.
Who thought my new like hero of 2026 is Justin Trudeau?
I'm putting him on my vision board right now. Anything is possible if you just believe.
Me too. Oh my God, I love that. So we had Katy and Justin being there as our celeb couples. We had, as we said, Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton came in. They had their faces covered, but it was so clear it was them. Plus Northwest was walking in front of them and she's got a very iconic look, so we knew it was them.
Yes,
a lot
she
of
was there
celeb
with the
behavior.
Friends. Yes.
Someone else who's given me inspiration always. Only just dance around my living room. We have nothing in common is Sabrina Carpenter, who was one of the big acts for this weekend.
And she also manifested her way there because 2 years earlier she was like, I'm going to headline next time. And then here we are. Here we are now.
She's like, I'll see you back again when I headline. And then she was like, would have been awkward if I didn't headline when I came back.
Yeah.
That's the first time she sang Espresso. Last time she was there.
Yeah.
Do you remember that moment?
She was like, it's espresso.
Everyone's like, what is this
and
new
everyone's
song?
like, what? And it was incredible.
A simpler time, really.
Yeah.
Take me back to that time.
Absolutely. So her performance was like basically her own little life of a showgirl journey.
Yeah.
She took us on like a spiritual journey through Hollywood, and she said it was her most ambitious thing she'd ever done in an interview a couple of days before. And I do think she was right. I mean, I've never been to one of her shows because she didn't bring the last couple to Australia.
Yeah,
but
which is
I've watched them on TikTok.
Form on her behalf. I would die to see a Sabrina Carpenter show.
I am hoping that she comes here. Fingers crossed. That's my manifestation.
Okay.
I'll add it up on my board next to Justin Trudeau.
Okay. So much to manifest. We're going to have to take some time off work.
But it was a real like Hollywood vibe to her set, and she sort of rounded that out by having some very big name guest stars. I'm not sure that everyone in the Coachella Valley understood all of them.
Oh yes, take us through the guest stars in case people aren't across.
Yes. So the performance started with like a black and white film noir sort of ode to old Hollywood cinema.
Yes, very classic her.
Yes, and it was like her in a car, and it was Sam Elliott. Do the people know who Sam Elliott is?
Maybe not every, but surely, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
Imagine.
I just realized that people don't know who Elizabeth Taylor is. So I don't know anymore.
If you don't know him, I'm going to describe him and you can see if you can pull it together. He's tall like a beanpole, has a really big moustache, grey hair, like full head of hair for an elder man.
Yeah.
Not old, elder. And talks in like a real southern drawl. So that's my description. Think of who you will. He's been in Parks and Recreation. He's been in some Yellowstone-esque stuff. Was he in Yellowstone?
I have not watched Yellowstone.
Even we don't even know.
But he's an actor. He's a well-known actor.
Oh, that's
all you have to say.
Very fancy schmancy actor. Yes. So he was in sort of the introduction, and it was like a black and white film, and it was all very cool. And then the lights come on. Although only a little bit of light, actually. Sorry. Lighting's very important to this production.
Okay.
Then she gets out of her car and she walks down like a Hollywood Walk of Fame on, when the stages jut out into the audience. You've seen it, but for the spillers.
Yeah.
She walks on like a Hollywood Walk of Fame, and then she turns and does a look back to the camera, and then House Tour starts playing, and the whole stadium lights up in like this Barbie dream house setup.
Yeah.
And then she takes us through all of these areas. So she goes to the studio for one performance. She's in a dive bar for another performance. Then at one point it's a ballet studio again. Then suddenly it's like Laura Brodnick's, I'm guessing, dream explodes, and it's like a Broadway cityscape.
Yeah,
and there's like flashing lights, and she's in like this leotard with like a big feather fantail thing attached to her. So it was really like, and there was actually a Hollywood Hills moment where there was like the Hollywood sign, but it was like her, Sabrina Cella moment. Yeah. So it was very, very dramatic. It's like every costume changes and dancers and lighting and all of her biggest hits. It was huge.
Yeah, it's just like everything that's like a thought bubble in her head that's her brand just like spilled out onto stage.
Yeah, it was like she'd thrown up Showgirl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like she had thrown up Showgirl and she was like, this is what it is.
This is what it is. And so midway through the performance, the other celebrity cameo, which I thought was amazing, was Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And like recently Susan was let go from her talent agent, and it kind of blew up with Kate Beckinsale talking about it. And that had a lot to do allegedly with the things that she has said about Palestine. So Sabrina bringing her out was a big deal because Susan's kind of struggling in Hollywood at the moment.
Yeah, she's
as a result
won't give her
opinions.
roles anymore, which is ridiculous because she is one of the most iconic actresses of our time.
And so she, played like an older fictionalized version of Sabrina.
Yeah.
And like, it's pretty cool to be able to call someone like that in because, like you said, she's such a great actress. She's phenomenal. And she just delivered this, like, award-worthy monologue in the middle of a Coachella set.
Yeah, and I saw some bad reviews about that. And to those people, I say, shut your mouths.
Grow up, losers. That's what I say.
That was iconic. And it needed to be something that was just for that moment in Coachella, not something that she had done on her tour, not something that she would pull out at other live events. Like, that was just in that moment for the people in the audience and the people like us, like, crazily live streaming it at home and watching it.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what it should have been.
Yeah, and she was like in the car sort of watching herself perform, and it was this monologue about like what she thinks of how she was perceived. And it's like she talks about like a fictional niece, and like she talks about all of this, like how she's viewed, and it's like Aunt Sabrina was always happy but she never smiled. And like she just says all of these really interesting things about, I guess, how Sabrina perceives what people think of her and what her reality is as like this big shiny star.
And now it's kind of unfortunate that all the headlines around her act are about this apology she had to give, right?
Yes. So in the middle of one of her sets, she did take a moment to like sit down at the piano to do a performance. And then when it went quiet through the crowd, there was sort of a fan who was very excited who made a noise, and Sabrina heard the noise and like stopped to ask what it was because she was confused.
Because she does interact with her fans when she's playing. Like that's what she does. If people call things out, she does respond to them.
And so normally on her tour, she kind of interacts in a bit of a like sassy and sarcastic way. And so she sat down at the piano set, probably wasn't expecting and not intending to do an interaction moment, but she heard the sound and then decided to interact. And so what she did was she was like, what is that? And she was like, are you yodeling? And then the person starts responding back to her. And they were like, you can hear them in the video. You can hear what they say. So they say that it's part of their culture because they were Arabic and they were doing a zagruta, which is like an ululating noise that people make in celebration and excitement. So it happens at a lot of weddings. And apparently like there's variations across like the Middle East and North Africa.
Right.
But essentially they've made this noise in excitement. Then she's heard it and gone, oh, like, what is that? But not in a like, oh, what is that curious way. She thought what she says in the moment and then what she said afterwards is she thought someone was yodeling.
Yeah.
And then she thought that it was like a Burning Man reference because apparently at Burning Man, a lot of people yodel. And she was like, wait, what's going on? I don't like it. I don't like this.
Yeah.
And they have that back and forth where the person in the crowd says like, oh, it's part of my culture. And like she kind of says, it's your culture with like a bit of a sarcastic, sassy response. But she does not realize what they're saying is her culture in the moment. She thinks they're saying that yodeling is their culture. And she goes, I don't like it.
Yeah.
So that has obviously happened. In the moment, sure, she didn't think any more of it. Afterwards, it obviously blows up on social media with people realizing like what has actually happened is this person has made this sound and they're saying it's part of my Arabic culture. And then Sabrina Carpenter's gone, I don't like it, it's weird. And so that's blown up for obvious reasons.
Yes.
She then came out afterwards and apologized in a statement pretty quickly, I thought.
Yeah, straight away, which I thought was the right thing to do. She saw the headlines, she watched the video, she's realized what has happened and just said, I'm really sorry. I didn't understand what the person was saying. I couldn't really hear. And I'm sorry. Like, this is obviously welcome at my shows at any time, which I thought was the right thing. And also just to give her a bit of grace in that moment, like from the video, it's clear what the person is saying. But if you were in Sabrina Carpenter's spot and there's thousands and thousands of people and you're up on a stage and everyone's screaming and yelling and you're yelling to this person in the audience, it would be very easy for that to get lost in translation. And I'm sure she wouldn't have said that, again, with 1,000 cameras on her as well. I'm sure she wouldn't have said that if she knew what was happening, but it was this quick interaction amongst all this screaming.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that when she saw the video, she was like I misconstrued that situation.
And I think as well, like, because the thing I do keep seeing is people being like, she could clearly hear because she responds to them. And it's like, I think people are underestimating how much she could hear. You can see in her face she catches like every other thing. And like you said, it is incredibly loud. She doesn't hear the whole conversation. Do I think that it's my place to say whether like people can be offended by this? Absolutely fucking not.
No,
it's not my place. So I think she's apologized. That's what we should expect from people when they do something that upsets people. Yeah. And then it's for everyone else to decide how they feel about it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Moving on to the other big act of the night, or the act of the weekend, which was Justin Bieber headlining for doing his first live performance to this scale in many years after his tour had to be cancelled.
Yeah, and honestly, it was really nice to see him on stage, I have to say.
Well,
thriving and doing his best.
This is why we've saved this to the end, because it is a big, juicy conversation that's happening today, because he came out on stage, he played his set, and people have a huge amount of opinions. It's very divided, with some people saying it was this incredible nostalgic moment and people just being so happy to see him back up on stage, and the other people saying like, how dare one of the highest paid headliners in Coachella history get up and just like literally give the audience nothing. So he came out on stage. There was obviously the big screens and projectors and everything, and he was playing clips from his YouTube and kind of taking the audience through a journey of like when he started out, when he first got recognition from the music industry, like very early days Justin Bieber, along with like singing some of his new songs and the rest of it.
22 other new songs. Yeah. I do think it's interesting. I mean, obviously the YouTube part is the part that has like exploded on social media. First, because people were so excited. Like, it's a tribute to how he ended up here. Like, he started on YouTube, and YouTube account themselves actually posted like the video of his first post, and then like Coachella, which I think is quite nice. But that's how he became famous. So it's obviously his artistic ode to his career and how he ended up here. But obviously that's where the big old school hits were. So that's when he sings Baby. That's when he's singing Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And actually that's also in that song where we see a cameo of Timothée Chalamet dancing with Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
Loved that. He's got a mask on to like hide himself from the ballerinas, but like
hide himself from the ballerinas.
I'm sure he had fun.
Yeah. It's just, people like, I can't believe Timothée and Kylie are just in the mosh of people singing and dancing. Like, they're in the VIP section, but that's still a mosh of people. And I was like, that's where you got to be in Coachella. You just got to, me who's never been. But
it's what you got to do.
That's where you got to be. But like, that's just, they're just in the crowd dancing.
Yeah. And I mean, Kylie's a number one believer. She loves that boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he's been friends with the Kardashians since he was, remember how people used to think that he and Kourtney hooked up? Remember how people used to think and he was the dad. He was the dad of Kourtney Kardashian's child.
And like, if you just look at any pictures of Scott as a child, that's who Rain looks like. But anyway, that's fine.
Wow, I forgot. That was a crazy time.
Yeah.
There's still people out there that believe that Justin Bieber
to this day. There was a photo of Rain recently and everyone's like, looking pretty Justin Bieber to me.
It's not funny, but that is just so stupid. Anyway.
So stupid. But we digress. But so the YouTube section was like a throwback to as a way to kind of sing some of his biggest hits, but also like that was his artistic choice for how to represent it.
Yeah, and it just, I guess if you just watch those small clips instead of watching the whole set, it could look like he was just sitting on stage in front of a laptop playing clips from YouTube, but he is interacting. He's interacting with people online as well, right? He was asking them for people online for songs that he should play.
Suggestions and stuff. And so at first I kind of thought that it must have been like a video setup, like as in he's fake typing and just the songs are coming up.
Yeah.
One, because you know how like when people show behind the scenes of concerts and they're like, here's what the artist hears in their ear and it's all the clicking noises?
Yeah.
Because he was singing very on beat to the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I was actually like, I know this sounds so stupid to say, but it was actually a skill in and of itself. Because I was like, I thought they must have queued it up and knew in advance, because otherwise he is literally going off when that YouTube clip starts and figuring out how to sing. Yeah. And so I thought it was fake until the Wi-Fi dropped out.
Oh, yeah.
There's a moment where the Wi-Fi goes out and he's like, fucking Wi-Fi. Yeah. And like it's when he's trying to bring up Sorry and he's like, this is the biggest one. Everyone's so excited. Like,
I know. Imagine Wi-Fi failing you in that moment. And it's so
he was interacting.
The crowd was, because like obviously there's a lot of hate online about him playing the YouTube videos. But if you look at the videos of the crowd, they're just losing their minds over it. I mean, one input, once again, they've come full circle from Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry. Front row at Justin Bieber, having the freaking time of their lives. Katy Perry, I think, really encapsulated the fan reaction when he started playing Baby, because she is just screaming. Because she's saying, like, who would have thought we would get to see him play this live with everything that's happened in his career and his life and his mental health and like not wanting to play his old songs and then having to cancel his tour because of what he said, health reasons, that he had like facial paralysis and all of these things. And then the story that was out there, which has been confirmed by a few outlets, was that he had to pay a huge amount of money out after the tour, which is then why Hailey had to like sell her business. There's all these stories around him not being able to perform anymore, and then him being on stage playing Baby and just like seeing everyone, led by Katy Perry, losing their minds in the audience was pretty like a real moment, I thought.
Yeah. And I get what people are saying. Like it would it have been fun to see him like doing the old school Justin Bieber, dancing, performing the full songs of those old songs. Of course it would. But it's not the Eras Tour. It's Coachella. Yeah. And him harmonizing with his younger self and him looking up at his younger self as he sings all these songs, like you said, after the things he's been through, and like there being points in time where you wondered if he would disappear or you wondered if he would be okay. Yeah. It's actually really nice in my opinion.
Yeah. It was like him kind of also like confronting his younger self, but also comforting his younger self, making peace with who he was then and who he is now. It's actually really layered when you're watching it.
And like I get it, because if you compare Sabrina Carpenter's Tears performance, where she's literally like rising from a chair that has a waterfall underneath it in like this big scale production, and then you splice it together with Justin Bieber playing the D's Nuts YouTube video on stage at Coachella. Yeah, okay, there is a difference in their performance, but there is also a difference in who they are as artists and what they promise you.
Well, this is the same conversation that we had after the Grammys, is that he came out at the Grammys and was kind of just standing on stage with his keyboard singing and his undies, and then kind of just wandered off, and everyone was like, he gives the bare minimum, and how dare he do that when, again, Sabrina Carpenter again and all these other performers come out like, you know, lights are blazing, costume changes and everything. And so I guess the other conversation that's around today is that Justin Bieber gets away with it because he's a man and Sabrina Carpenter has to do this, which I agree with you. It's not, I mean, yes, men obviously have to do a lot less than women.
Yeah, for sure.
In every frame of life, including celebrity performance in the music industry. But I think the Justin Bieber and Sabrina Carpenter comparisons is not the way to go, because they just have completely different brands. Yeah. Her brand, like Sabrina Carpenter has built her brand off this glitzy, over-the-top glamour, sexiness, playfulness, showfulness. Like that has where her brand has started. Whereas Justin Bieber has moved. I know he used to do those big stadium tours, like backup dancers and stuff.
He was a literal child. wild when he did that.
But he has over the last decade moved his brand away to I stand on stage with a keyboard or I sit down or I do that's on his vibe. And there's other female musicians that do that. Like we always like a Billie Eilish.
Yeah, totally.
Will just sometimes just come out in like her shorts and a t-shirt and sneakers and sit down in the middle of the stage and sing. Yeah. And her fans love her for that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to do this big lights dancing tour because that's not who she is as a musician. So I just think Justin Bieber and Sabrina Carpenter, the comparison is not there.
It's apples and oranges. Like it's not the same thing. Like if Harry Styles went and did Coachella, you know that there would be a big party vibe and choreography and probably costume changes. It wouldn't be the same as Sabrina. But again, Sabrina's thing is like Hollywood fever dream.
When Harry Styles did Coachella, he had the band, the lights, he had the rainbow outfit. He had Shania Twain.
Oh my God, the Shania moment.
Come out and dance with him on stage in a glitter explosion because that's what Harry Styles does. Again, that's his brand. And so, I don't think we can quite compare them. Obviously, yes, men do get away with more than women across the stage. But I do think if you're like that level of musician, you get called out if you mislead fans. Like the fans who are in the Justin Bieber crowd were expecting him to do that. It's like when Justin Timberlake finally did his big world tour.
Yes.
And people were like, this is not good enough. We expect more from you because you have built up your brand to be all singing, all dancing, all performance. And so when he was standing on stage, and obviously he came out later and said there were health issues involved, just to caveat. But when Justin Timberlake came out on stage and was like barely dancing and just kept holding out the mic to the audience and saying like, you sing it, he got called out for that because people just want what they paid for.
Yeah.
And with Justin Bieber, I feel like fans got what they paid for.
And that's, I think, the difference here. This is like fans versus just the general public and internet. Like, if you don't know much about what Justin's been doing lately, you're like, this isn't good enough.
Yeah.
But if you do know, you're like, no, this is good and seems great. And I think, like you said, everyone who was there had a fantastic time.
Yeah.
I think part of the difference as well is Sabrina is not just playing to the crowd that's there. I do think she is, and I think she had the time of her life and that's all she ever wants. She wants to put on a show that she would enjoy, and that's what she does. But she's also playing to the crowd at home.
Yes.
Because Coachella is professionally filmed. Like, it's not like just fan videos. Like, that whole thing was live streamed. The clips are up on their YouTube channel. Like, it's like basically her own opportunity for like a concert film at a festival. And she was going to take it so that she could show everyone what she could do. And it's a very big production. Whereas he's just playing to the crowd that's there. I know he knows it's going to go everywhere, but he's like, this is my show for you people right here, right now. And everyone who was there seems to have enjoyed it.
Yes, there's a few big content creators who'd been posting and in the lead up saying like, Justin Bieber is what I'm here for. That's what I'm going to, like Madeline White. And so they're the videos.
God, she loves him so much.
They're the videos I went and watched afterwards because I was like, oh, they're the ones that they're like just there as like a fan. So they're the ones who will say whether it was good or not. And when I saw Madeline White like sobbing and she was filming all her friends and people around her and they were all sobbing, like you do when you see your favorite star and you have a moment. And I was like, oh, no, the fans loved this.
Yeah.
There were a lot of interesting moments in there. What did you think of him playing his viral paparazzi video? The one where he's in the hoodie and he confronts the paparazzi screaming that he's a real person, he's going to stand on business. All these like phrases that went on to become like quite iconic. You're like, I can't actually speak on that right now. I don't want to.
I know this is a podcast, it's an audio medium, but I actually can't do it.
That's the first time someone's like, I just not going to speak on that. I'm so sorry.
I just can't. Like, it's been too much. When that happened, I was like, whoa, I'm so stressed out for this man.
Yeah.
And I was concerned for him. Because, I mean, first of all, like, it's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business. Like, him just adapting words that he's seemingly like.
But I think Hailey has used that. She's posted it online as well. Like, they have taken that viral moment and turned it into like a branding thing for the Biebers.
It's on T-shirts that are being sold at Coachella.
I know. I want one.
It's a lyric in the album to the point where I was like, when the album came out, I was like, wait, did you plan that or did you like just really turn this song around because you're an artist? Like, yeah, that has been used a lot. I liked him playing it, to be honest, because it's probably his biggest like culturally relevant moment.
Yeah.
Like people make fun of it all of the time. And he, I think, is just joining in on that. And I don't really understand though, like at this point in time, I'm like, was that a moment where people should have been concerned for you or were you just irritated and you just said something and you walked away? Like, because remember at the time, people were really stressed when that video came out for him.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, probably a little bit of both.
Bit of both.
That's the other thing, I think, because there's been all of these stories that his mental health was bad, also his like physical health was bad, that he wasn't going to perform anymore, that he was not okay. And people really thought we were going to see like the very public downfall of this performer who we have watched since a child. world.
Yeah.
And I think also people seeing him on stage performing, there was like this sense of relief of like, oh, I'm so glad to see this person I loved back on stage. And people were loving, like Hailey was obviously, like there was all this celebs in the front row, but Hailey was obviously there and she was dancing and singing. And then he did this cute little shout out to the fam, and that people kind of just melted over that.
Everything hallelujah, mom and dad hallelujah, Hailey babe hallelujah, baby Jack hallelujah, brand new day hallelujah, Oscar Piggy hallelujah.
I think you're right. I think that's the perfect description. This felt like a big sigh of relief that he's okay.
Yes.
And I know it sounds really dramatic, but I think you pair that video with kind of some behavior people had seen on Instagram for an extended period of time. There's always been concerns about him and Hailey in terms of like people thinking the way that he treats her is not very nice. It does feel like there's been a shift recently, and like maybe they're coming around. Like
after they've been married for ages, they have a child together.
No.
I saw people going like, he does like her. I was like, of course he likes her.
He likes her.
Married for many years.
I know. But he did do things, but also I think a lot of the things he did that people referenced, it was when they were younger, and like, whomst amongst us has not been a fuckboy at some point in time.
And forgot your wife was on the street and
left her or like let her fall over and run away without her.
Sorry, I thought you were never going to get the cover of Vogue. I told you weren't good enough.
Okay,
I know.
yeah, he does his bad things. But, you know, I do agree with you. I think this felt like a sigh of relief for someone who I'm not, like, I like Justin Bieber's songs. I do think he's very talented. Shocking, like, declaration there. But, like, I think he's a talented guy, but I'm not, like, the biggest believer. But as just a person on the internet, I felt worried for him.
Yeah.
So this turnaround feels like, a big sigh of relief. And I don't know, it looked like a good time to me.
Yeah. Again, well, everyone having a great time in the crowd, and that's important. So, many things to come out of one weekend of Coachella. We weren't even there. We've talked a whole pod about it. One more weekend to go. So if there's any other...
I know. Can you imagine going to weekend two? It's just so, like, not as good.
Like, well, we didn't go to either. So.
Yeah, but if you're going, you should go to one.
Yeah,
no,
again, I will go, but I just can't car camp.
I can't afford it, I'll be honest. That's crazy.
I'd rather camp in the wilderness. I'm fine with that than
Do you know
car
it was like
camp.
$60 for Australian for a vodka Red Bull? I saw one girl say.
Yeah.
Crazy. We're never going.
We're never going for many reasons.